solve. And so what we would do is we would say x squared, whoops, we would say x squared minus x minus 1 equals 0. So that's the expression, x squared minus x minus 1 is the expression. So I'm going to graph it real quick just to kind of get an idea of where it would be. I'm going to hit trace, and I'm going to see that it looks like, I don't know, 1.6 might be the first intercept. And let's scroll around till we get to the other one, which is about 0.638. So somewhere in there, those are my two possible solutions. However, what we've been asked to do is to find both of these solutions using the table of values. So when I click second graph, which gives me my table of values, notice that my x's are counting by y integers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hone in on what the solution is. So what I can do is, first of all, I need to change how my calculator calculates the table of values with regards to my domain and the x values. So I noticed that the first one was about 1.6 roughly, and then I want to count by 0.05. Now what that'll mean is that the first value will be 1.6, 0, then the next value will be 1.65, then 1.7, and so on and so forth. So when I hit second graph, if you notice, that really helped out by looking at the graph first. When my x value is 1.6, my y value is negative 0.04. Now what we're looking for is when y equals 0. So notice that from 1.6 to the x value of 1.65, it goes from a negative y value to a positive y value. Now what that means is that my 0 is between 1.6 and 1.65. So if I really wanted to fine tune that, I could still leave it at 1.6 and switch my table in which I count by 0.01. So now if I hit graph, notice that the table counts by 0.01. In other words, I go from x equals 1.6 to x equals 1.62 and so on and so forth. And here we can see that it's going to be between x equals 1.6 and x equals 1.62 because my y value for x equals 1.61 is negative, and then if I jump to x equals 1.62, my y value is positive. So I can fine tune this even more by coming in and saying 1.61, right? And now I'm going to count by 0.05. Okay, and so now what I'll do is look at this. Now I'm really honing in on it. So it's between these two numbers. And so I can come back, set my table to 1.615, and now I can come over here and count by 0.001. And what that lets me do is I can really get really close. And so just by guessing, I would say 1.68 or 1.69 would be my x value for the solution. And that's about what we had before. In fact, let's go ahead and let's graph it, and let's actually calculate it and see what we would get. I purposefully didn't calculate the x-intercept because I wanted us to play with the table of values first. Alright, here we go. 1.68. So that's how you do it. And then you would do the same thing. If I wanted to find the other one, remember that started at about 0.6, I think it was like 0.63 or something like that. So then again, you would hit your, it was negative 0.63, so it was like negative 0.635 or something like that. I don't know, we'll see, at 8. So if I hit second table of values, Positive numbers. So I get closer and closer and closer and closer to 0. So here again we have 0.6, negative 0.68. Looks like it might be the answer, or it's probably that, 0.618. So if I come in here and I look at the graph and we calculate it, zoom around again, it should be negative 0.618 or fairly close to it. So we'll scroll around real quick, hit enter, scroll around a little further, hit enter, guess, hit enter. Look at that, wha-bam, with the bacon sizzle.